Hello again, everybody. Sam here, otherwise known as Skullgrim Fro, back here again for another Transformers review. It's a new year, and it's time for a new toy review. Yes, it's that time. Finally, at last. So, where to really start? Because I said I was going to do this specific review of this specific character, but never really got round to doing it. And, I figured that now that I finally got a little bit of time, I thought I might as well just get in front of the camera and finally do this, just so I can just get it off of my, my plate once and for all, and move on to the other things that I want to try and talk about. So, where to really start with this character? Well, it's really difficult to really talk about him, because outside of who he really is, he has really got not much of a whole agenda, apart from just pleasing Megatron. That's it. He's a very loyal, dedicated, blindly devoted to Megatron's cause, and that's really it. I mean, I really don't think there really is much to say about this character except for what is on the tin, and if you've watched the show, and really I don't know where you can go wrong with that. So, really, it's kind of difficult to really talk about it, but well, nonetheless, I'm going to try and talk about it and see what we can get out of this. Today we're going to be taking into account, as the title below pretty much already says, animated Lugnut. Yes, here we are, this lovely little toy, which, it's got a lot of curves, and they're all in the right places, and I really, really like it. So, before I can talk about the toy, let's talk a little bit about the character of Lugnut. I think the best way I can really summarize Lugnut as a character in Transformers Animated is that if Megatron told Lugnut to do something, he would do it. If he told him to jump off a cliff, he would do it. If he told him to bomb a village, he would do it. If he told him to stand on his head and sing La La Fancy Pants, which, I don't know what the fuck that was about. La La Fancy Pants. Okay, yeah, I don't know if there's an actual song called La La Fancy Pants, but if there's a song called La La Fancy Pants, I'd imagine that that's what Lugnut will be told to do by Megatron. But yeah, Lugnut as a character in the entire series he is viciously, fearlessly devoted to Megatron on so many levels. He's a very powerful Decepticon who would pretty much carry out whatever Megatron told him to do in whatever way possible. He's strong, he's powerful, his blind loyalty really is his only weakness. And besides his compulsion to serve Megatron, the only other thing that's keeping him going is really to destroy the Autobots. And pretty much renowned throughout Cybertron, he is as one of the most destructive fighters for the Decepticon cause, and he really has no time or patience or contemplation for any strategy of any kind, because his whole shtick, his whole character really is, Lugnut, go into battle, kill the Autobots. That's it. And the best way to do that is, of course, he has a little attack called Punch of Kill Everything, where, of course, he can leap up yay on high, and then, of course, pound down onto the ground, causing a massive explosion, destroying parts of land from miles around, which, of course, will leave nothing more than a crater. That's really about it. Lugnut in the show, really, like I said before, not really much to say about his character, because as a character, Lugnut really didn't develop that well. At least from how I see it, because Lugnut, of course, as a character, was always very viciously loyal to Megatron. He carried out whatever Megatron told him to do, and he would not stop. But pretty much, this was at the time when Megatron was absent throughout most of Season 1 in physical form. He was pretty much under Megatron's command to try and find Megatron and carry out all this other stuff that Megatron wanted him to do. And really, Lugnut as a character is as he displays himself. He is loyal, dedicated, not very bright. But then again, that's kind of the thing, though. I mean, and here's an interesting thing about Lugnut, which really, this is why Animated was such a fantastic series. Years ago, there was a character who, of course, had the exact same personality as Lugnut, and that was the character of Inferno from Beast Wars. Because, of course, Inferno was loyal to the point where he would always call Megatron his queen, because, of course, he was an ant. He was using ant terminology, and queen, the whole thing. So with Lugnut, it's kind of the same thing. And also, as well, Lugnut, of course, is played excellently by David Kay in the series. Provides a much more darker, I was going to say boneheaded level of tone to the character of Lugnut, and he does it surprisingly well. considering most of the things he's played. But Lugnut as a character, really, there really isn't much to say. I mean, Lugnut is as he pretty much says in the show, and on all the Wikipedia pages that you'll find, is he's strong, powerful, and he is willing to please his glorious leader for whatever need Megatron has him carry out. And his loyalty is unquestionably high on so many levels. So really the character of Lugnut is, he's strong and powerful, not really much of a mindset for his own things, and he just wants to please Megatron. That's his whole existence, and that's pretty much where he stands as a character. And that's really all that I can say about the character. I'm sorry that there hasn't been much information, but nonetheless, I've managed to say what I wanted to say. Now, on to the toy, because the toy is probably the biggest thing. If you remember a while ago, I reviewed the Hunt for the Decepticons Lugnut, which of course had some gorgeous detail. The design of it was perfect. The whole punch-or-kill-everything weapon was just as good. Fantastic toy, same character. So the whole personality thing really is still the same. So really not much has changed there. But that, of course, is a different toy of the same character. This, of course, is the original toy of that original character, and we're going to look at that today. So, Lugnut's alt mode, and of course, this toy was given to me at Auto Assembly last year, Auto Assembly 2014, by Mr. Matthew Clark, Time Lord, thank you, sir. This is a really good toy, I really like it, but anyway, Lugnut's alt mode. Lugnut's alt mode in the series is he's a bit of a retro-futuristic bomber plane, which of course includes features from many historic designs, including like the B-25, the B-25 Mitchell and the Heinkel He-111. And honestly, the alt mode for itself is really quite nice. It's a very smooth alt mode, because the lines and the show accuracy of how the animated toys really go into effect kind of really work for this, and especially because even though I'm shooting this in the night, of course, the lighting is all good, but yeah, the alt mode, of course, is quite a really nicely displayed alt mode. You can see a little bit of the detail right there. Now, of course, the one thing as well is that this toy is missing one of its little pistols, which really, it's no big deal. I don't really care. I mean, it's just one missing gun. It doesn't affect this toy in any way, shape, or form. So I think this toy for the moment is fine with just having just one little pistol just on the side. But really, the jet mode is it's a very simple looking toy. I really like the alt mode for this. It's nicely designed. It's got a lot of smooth edges and nice curves. It's a very curvy toy, despite the fact that the lines are very symmetrical and jagged and all over the place. So really, there's not much I can say about the alt mode, except the lines are in the right place, and the color, sporting, of course, a nice purple, and I think it's teal, which is quite nice. So really, the alt mode for the original Lugnut, of course, is pretty good. Now, with what I've managed to discuss about the alt mode, we're going to get to the robot mode quickly, because the robot mode, which, it's got a few problems, but that doesn't really help, that doesn't help really ruin the toy in any way, shape, or form. The toy's fine, it's just the robot mode. So, let's take a quick look at the robot. So here we have animated Lugnut in his robot mode, and, okay, I'm just going to get the one negative thing out of the way before we can get onto the positive things, because there's only just one negative thing aside for this one toy. Really, the only thing I can think of which is a bit of a negative setback for this toy is that it's just too small. In the robot mode and in the alt mode, just the toy in general, it's too small. Because when you think about how big this character is in the show, and when you see how big he is compared to characters like Bulkhead, and when you see him grappling with Bulkhead, yeah, you've really got to imagine why this toy, with a character being so large, is given a toy so small. But that doesn't really add up. I would imagine that in some way this toy would be the same size as animated leader Megatron, at least in some way or another. But no, instead he's a very small, dainty, deluxe class figure, which, honestly, the design of the robot mode, and keeping in mind as well, according to the information regarding the character of Lugnut, of course, because from what I heard from J. Wyatt, the character, of course, Lugnut, of course, is based off of the character, the Hulk from Marvel Comics, because if you're following the whole size monster comparison thingy. It was said that Bulkhead is the Thing from the Fantastic Four, and of course Hulk, Lugnut is from Hulk, from the Incredible Hulk from Marvel Comics. That's kind of really where the whole idea between two big guys just clashing together really came from. But apart from that, though, the toy itself is actually really, really nice. The robot mode has a what's the word I'm looking for? It's got a I can't think of the word. It's special. Not in that semi-retarded way, but it's a special-looking robot mode for it. And what I like about it as well is the fact that the even though I didn't show it in the transformation, it has that auto transformation gimmick, in which of course some toys do have this in Transformers, but the auto transformation gimmick is where of course you flip up a part of the mode itself, and of course pops up the robot head, and it does that surprisingly well. And the robot head, which of course doesn't move, it's part of the actual chest itself. The head, of course, he has a Cyclops head, which you can see it or not. It's a little plastic light in the part of the head, which of course there's no way to shine a light through it, so this isn't a light piping head or anything. But the head sculpt, you can clearly see that that's the chin, and if you look underneath, there's the mouth right there. So the head design for this is quite spot on. Everything else, stay with me everybody, the arms can rotate the full 360. Oh, you feel that, that's good. Ratcheted joints. I can listen to these all day. Ratcheted joints, and I gotta stop breaking these, otherwise if I keep fucking around with the joints, they'll break. But yeah, the joints of course are heavily ratcheted. Yeah, there you go. Not so much. Yeah, I just realized that I kind of just moved the ratcheted joint a bit too much on this one. Yeah, sorry about that. But this one's still good. So the arms are pretty good. The legs, of course, are nice and movable. Hang on. No joints in that one, but still pretty good. And of course he has claw hands, not actual hands, but claw hands, which are really, they're quite nice. I mean, there really isn't anything that grand about them, but I think they do a pretty good job. Of course, they're pretty good, not pretty good yet, but pretty good. And of course, there are moving joints in the shoulders, which is a nice way, so you can have this guy in all sorts of poses. Now, the one thing that I have a complaint with is this piece, which that's part of the alt mode. And this is his hammer, and Lugnut really only used this once in the show when he met Gar. And really, I don't like it, because Lugnut really never used weapons. I mean, he was always the hands-on approach, leap forth and then pound things into the ground and explode kind of guy. I mean, he really never used this thing. So this thing really hasn't got much of a purpose, except for, of course, if you put it in either one of these hands, you can just slot it into this holder, and of course he's holding the hammer, like so, and then of course he's holding it in a very battle-ready position. So yeah, get him in one of his many poses. But apart from that, yeah, I mean, Lugnut as a toy, he's actually quite nice. He's got nice curves, he's very edgy in his design, and I think really he manages to do pretty much mostly what the toy pretty much has him planned out to do. I mean, the character in the series, he's alright, but he wasn't really anything that special apart from just being the blindly loyal character to serve Megatron. And that's really it. I think that this character could have been interesting if he ventured out and not escaped tyranny, because Megatron's tyranny over this character wasn't really all that visible. But do so in a way to see that this character had something of a personality apart from just be a fiercely loyal Inferno character. But you know what would have been interesting though, if Lugnut and Inferno from Beast Wars got together and made Megatron fan clubs. That would be kind of cool. So final thoughts. This is a good toy. The character's a bit eh. If you like the character, that's fine. But I mean, honestly, I think the toy is actually pretty good. So thanks again to Matt Clark for letting me buy this toy off of you, because he was selling this. If you're an animated fan, I would recommend getting it. I think this toy it's quite nice. It's a nice little toy. It's not that special except for a few things, but really it does what it needs to do. So anyway, this has been Animated Lugnut, and I am Scott Monfro, the first Transformers review of 2015. Take care everybody, I will see you all soon.